एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद। धन धन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी महाराज, धन गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहिब सच्चे पातशाह। हवाए बंदगी अबुर दर वजूद मरा, वगरना सो के चुनी आमदैन नमूद मरा। जग रचना सब झूठ है, जान ले हो रे मीत, कहो नानक थिर ना रहे ज्यों बालू की पीत। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। We are visiting the Bani of Japji at the footsteps of Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj. We are trying to understand life. We have done 20 pauris till now. Pauri meaning every step. Today is an interesting change in the rhythm of this flow. And that makes it, gives it an opportunity to be more creative. When the rhythm breaks, there's a pause, there's a flux, there's an opening. Maharaj talks about something which he has been addressing since the beginning of the Japji. But somehow we've all missed it. What is the Japji about, and what is the Guru Granth Sahib all about? What is life all about? What is it that we are all doing here, and what are we looking for? What is it that we want? The two aspects which make us look at life deeply is, one our pain and the other our sorrow. And the third is our fear of death. We consider these the negative energies of life. But these are the defining energies of life as well. If we found an answer to these, fear, sorrow, and pain, then what would life be like? If there is a discussion on spirituality, then it has to do with these three elements. Otherwise, it's irrelevant, because then it doesn't address my issues. My issues are these. And in these issues, all that I'm trying to do is to avoid them somehow, to run faster than the train and beat it on its own track, to avoid sorrow, avoid pain, and avoid fear. But that's exactly what keeps happening. What I'm avoiding is what I keep getting, is what keeps visiting me, what keeps coming back to me again and again. Is not an avoiding of these energies, but these keep coming back, they keep coming and visiting me again and again, and they make life a hell for me. Is life hell? Or is there a heaven? That's even more confusing. What is it that I want to know about life which will solve these problems for me? And the other thing is that I don't want them solved temporarily. Temporarily they go away. I have a good meal, somebody has a few whiskeys, go see a good play, and you forget about these. But they don't go away. Life's problems don't go away, we just try and avoid them. And the more we avoid them, the more they come back to us. Today there is so much talk about manifestations, about manifesting things which we will then visit. I think the basic point is lost in this whole story. What is this life about, and where are we living it? Where is the field of play? And how do I interact with that field of play? What I need to know is that how does pain go away? Is Japji addressing that at all? Well, that's the point. It's addressing that right from the beginning, but we are missing it. Somehow the language which Guru Nanak uses is not the language of today, and so we don't decipher it the same way that it's been addressed. When Maharaj raises the question of Satyar, he actually means truth, unchanging world. So there is stability. And then he talks about hukum of the Creator. Where living in that hukum there is no pain and no death. Because in one of the questions in the Guru Granth, he asks this question, Kahan te aave, kahan hai jaave, kahan hai rahe samai? Where do I come from? Where do I go and where do I find rest and peace? How do I get merged with the Creator, which is what Satyar is? Maharaj said, Hukume aave, hukume jave, hukume rahe samai. In hukum he comes, in hukum he goes, and in hukum he finds his rest and peace. Like a fish in water doesn't know it is in water. But the moment it is taken out of water, it realizes it was living in water and that was its life. That was the defining energy of its life. Similarly, our spirit, our soul, it lives in hukum. It is surrounded by hukum. It lives in hukum, within and without. But we don't know it. We will realize it when we leave this physical body. That there is a hukum, there is an order. There is a presence, there is an energy. But the realization will come too late if it comes at the end of life. We will visit the 21st body today, but please be attentive. Some of the defining energies of life are addressed here. They may sound simple, but Guru Sahib is taking us in a journey which we did not realize. When he told us about Sune, Mane, and then Panch, he was talking about the mind. Who listens? Who gets absorbed, goes into Manan, and who becomes the Panch, the exalted, the gifted, the rewarded? And how does the reward come about? It is all happening in the Man. And now in the 21st body, he addresses the Man directly. What is the journey of the Man? So let's be more attentive than usual. And then maybe we find our solutions to these three problems we have. The 20th body, I'm sorry. My mistake. I think we will do the 20th body today. Okay, sorry. So, we will first read this body, and we have Khushpreet today to read it for us. And then we will visit the meanings of. Then we will sit with Sahib and understand what he is saying to us. This is the psychology of the human life. We have such a huge, tremendous amount of work on the mind, the psychology of the mind. But the Guru does not talk about that only. He talks about a psychology which is not known by the West, which is not a common trait, which is not understood. That psychology needs a Guru for it to understand. It's the psychology of the source of the mind. Psychology being the scientific study of the mind. And when Maharaj talks about the mind's dimensions which we don't know in everyday world, we even have an example of the modern spiritualists, the Judo Krishnamurti, so to say, who vehemently talks about no guru is needed. Although I think all his life he was preaching like a guru. But what is the role of the guru? And then when it is vehemently opposed that there is no need for guru, then maybe we don't look for guru. And so we don't have an understanding of what is the role of the guru in my life. Who and what is guru? Let's discuss that all today. We get a flux moment. We dwell deeper into the mind, our mind. And there the solutions and the problems all together exist. We live the problems every day, but we don't know the solutions. Let us see what Guru Nanak Sahib says about the solutions of life.
वाहिगुरु जी पर यह हथ पैर तंदे पानी तोते उतरस खे मूत पलीती कपड़ होए दे साबुन लइए ओ तोए पर यह मत पापा कै संग ओ तो पै नावे कै रंग पुन्नी पापी आखण नाहे कर कर करना लिख ले जाहो आपे बीज आपे ही खाहो नानक हुक्मी आवो जाहो वाहिगुरु जी.
Thank you, Kushpreet Maharaj. Vaheguru Maharaj. So let's ask this question. Where does sorrow come from? So in the Sikh Gosht, which is the Bani of Guru Nanak Sahib, which is preceding actually the Japji, there are 4 parables, 4 Pauris in the Japji, which are from the Sikh Gosht. We will visit them later. In that Bani, this question is asked, Kit kit bid jagupje purkha, kit kit dukh binas jai. How does the world come about? And how does pain go away? Then in one more place he asks, Ja hirde de na hoti, tam man kathe rehta. Ja hirde de na hoti, tam man kathe rehta. Hirde deh na hoti avdu, tam man sun raha vairagi. Now these are 2 different questions. One is Kit kit bid jagupje purkha. How does the world come about? And how does sorrow go away? Home vich jagupje purkha. Naam visariye dukh pai. From home, from the creation of my conditioned mind, the world comes about. And sorrow is because we forget the source of our mind. Naam visariye dukh pai. That is our pain. In another place he asks this question, when there is no body, there is no physical form, where does the mind go? To that Maharaj says, it goes into sunnavastha without rag, meaning it has no movement and it stabilizes in its own source. The mind's source is sun samadhi. Now Maharaj, let's visit these issues. What Maharaj is telling us in the Japji is the PhD of the spiritual psychology of mind. we don't get it. We keep reading it. It's lying in front of us, the answers, and we keep missing them. We are looking for a solution for our pain, and we never find it. We keep reading the answers, but we miss them completely. Maharaj, at one another place, talks about the inner pain which we have, and how do we go beyond it. So, when Maharaj says that it is the conditioned ego mind where life comes about, when we take birth, we are disconnected from our source. Liv chutki lagi trishna, maya amar vartaya. And then once we are disconnected, we are always looking for that connection back again. That is why meditation in the Guru Granth is Simran, remembering what we have forgotten. Now, Maharaj says, Jis jal nidkaran tum jagaye. You have come for some, you are thirsty for some water. So amrit gurte paya. That is an amrit. Amrit is a state of being, state of mind, where there is no death and there is no pain. Maharaj says that we are all looking for this state, and that is the whole enigma of life. We are finding them in the physical form, we are searching for them. But the solution lies within us. I had at one of the sessions shared about Rabia al-Basra, a Sufi Sant lady from Basra, Iraq, who lost her needle or wanted to teach her friends a lesson and said, I have lost my needle. And she made them search for the needle throughout the day outside. And in the evening she said that we are not able to find the needle. And they asked her, where have you exactly dropped it? And she said, I have dropped it inside the house. And then they laugh at her and say, you have made us search for it all day outside, but it is actually lying in the house. And they laugh at her, and then she laughs back and says, isn't that exactly what we are doing with our lives? The solution to our life lies within us. And we are trying to always find it outside, because there's no glamour, there's more light, there's more attraction, there's more movement. This is the other thing, movement. We need to discuss this movement, the moving mind and the non-moving mind. So Maharaj in Guru Amar Das Sahib in Anand Sahib also addresses this question. He says, Surnar Munjan Amrit Khoj De, so Amrit Gurte Paya. That all of us are seeking this Amrit, this painless state of being which has no death in it. Judo Krishnamurti says the same thing. He says we are all looking for happiness and permanent happiness. Now where does that lie, and why I can't find it? If we are all looking for it, in the omkareshwar, which we just did a few months ago, Maharaj talks about us living through many lifetimes, many families, many children, many siblings, many wives, many gurus. We have gone through so many transitions of relationships, but not found a solution. And we are actually tired now. Maharaj says, you're also tired. You don't know you're tired. So we are looking for this. And we can find it with our Guru. Where is the Guru? Do I look for someone who talks well, who's dressed like a Guru, has a drama built into it? Or how do I define and find the Guru? I think the reason I think we need to explore these things, because these dimensions are critical in understanding the Japji. Without this, the spiritual psychology of the Bani, Gurbani is the Man, the psychology of the inner mind, a non-moving mind. Until we get aware of that, we don't know real life. We only know moving mind, moving life. So ego form, conditioned mind, identity, name, relationships, our wealth, status, all these defining moments of life do not permanently define any of us. These are all changing. What we are today will not be tomorrow. What is tomorrow will not be day after. There's a constant change built into the system. That's why he says, Jag rachna sab jhoot hai. This is not truth because it's not stationary, it's not unchanging, it's not permanent. With time it will be gone. He says, like jo balu ki peet, like sand on a beach. With wind it gets flown away. With water it gets drained. Life is like that. Life is like the shadow of a tree. Not permanent. It's moving constantly. The tree is not moving. The shadow is moving. So there is an unmoving aspect and there is a moving aspect of life. We know the shadow only. We don't know the real life. We don't know the real tree. And we keep using the shadow as the reality of life. Keep missing the boat. We don't find the Amrit. And we wander. Keep wandering. Maharaj says, Kya paviye sat sucha hoye? Where are you wandering? Saat shabad bin mukt na koi. When you become truth, only then you know what is reality. Then you become pure. When you meet your Guru, Sach sucha hoye. Saat shabad bin mukt na koi. Without the shabad, nobody is freed from here. We are all in a prison. And we don't know we are in a prison. We in fact live like our prison. We want to get freed, but yet we resist the freedom. We don't go to the Amrit. We keep having poison. And we poison our lives. And waste it away. Who opens this door, Maharaj? How does reality of life come to me? How do I understand this status of Amrit, Maharaj? That's the key to life. Maharaj is talking about the man in the 20th body. And why I was a little shaken myself was because it's only about the man, this whole body. And then it dawned on me that I have come 19 bodies away from the Omkar, from the Shlok, from the Mool Mantar. And I haven't addressed mind as I should have addressed it, because the game of life is in the man. It's not in the physical form. A child is born from 1 to 100 years of age. Whatever changes he or she lives through, he lives it all in the man. And the man is the key. If we've opened that inner door of the man, I love this one line which Bhagat Kabir says in one of his shabads. It's Persian. Asman mein aane leheng darya. Gusal kardan bood. When we were growing up, we used to use this word gusal khana. It's a Persian word. That's what he's saying, gusal. Asman, in the 10th door of the inner mind, in the Dasam Dwar, Asman mein aane, there lives Leheng Darya, a river, flowing river. Gusal kardan bood, bathe in that river. Maharaj, what is that river? It's the river of joy, unconditional love and joy, living within us all. Maharaj today is actually talking about this in the 20th body. When he's saying, I want to cleanse the mind. Of what, Maharaj? So if we go out and ask this question, cleanse the mind, 9 out of 10 will say it's sex has corrupted the mind. Is that so? Then we would not be born. If everybody was pure in this world and corruption is only sex, then there would be no life. This is how we miss the boat again and again. We don't know the mind. We don't know the inner mind. We've not played that game of the mind. So the psychology of the inner mind misses us. We don't know Guru. We imagine Guru as a physical form. Well, Gurunanak revealed a different Guru to us. This is why the Sikh Gurus is such an immensely interesting and intense Bani. There this question is asked of him, that who is your Guru? Kavan mool, kavan matvela, kavan Guru, kiska tu chela? What is the mool, the foundation of this creation? Kavan matvela. Why am I born? What for is this time of birth and life given to me? This is only a span between birth and death. It's an opportunity of what? I take this life to be sacrosanct and don't know what is beyond it. And often we just put the question marks away and says there's nothing beyond life. Is it so? Kavan mool, kavan matvela. Kavan Guru, kiska tu chela? Who's your Guru, Gurunanak Maharaj? Whose chela are you? All this knowledge of the inner mind which you talk about, you reveal to us, who has given it to you? Pavanaram Satkur Matvela. From the breath life comes. Satkur, to meet the Guru and realize the Guru in this lifetime, is the reason for birth, Maharaj. Shabad Guru Surten Chela. Shabad is my Guru, and Surt, my ekagar, my focused mind, my transcendent mind, my unchanging mind, so to say, is the Chela. And I don't know this unchanging mind. That's the key. I only know moving mind. I only know my thoughts. And all my life, my thoughts define me. A thought comes to me and I think this is mine, and I hold on to it and I'd say this is me. That's not what life is. Thoughts don't define us. We have a good thought, we have a bad thought, we have a neutral thought. We have thoughts throughout our life, but they do not define us. They are moving energies of life. We can look at them and maybe use them to define ourselves, but thoughts do not define us. They are just moving energies. I can create them. I energize them from my energy, from my ego. And so I don't know how to drop these thoughts. And they consume me. These thoughts are my bane, are the problem of my life. They are the curtain which hides the reality of life from me. And I never sit and go beyond thoughts. I'm always absorbed by thoughts, always traveled by them, always holding on to them, one after the other, and the other. And soon enough, we are 80 years old and we die. And what happens is that the remnants of these thoughts and the actions which I've gone through, they become my baggage and my journey. Maharaj is talking about the cleansed mind. When he talks about Pauri, Hath, Pair, Tande, that my body is dirty. Pani totas utras khe. And I use water to cleanse the dirt from my physical body. This is what Sahib is talking about. De sabun Moot paliti kappad hoye. And my clothes get dirty, I use soap to wash them. De saboon liye otoe. Par ye mat papa ke sang. Oto pehname ke rang. Maharaj says when the mind is corrupted, then how do you cleanse it? He talks about naam. He talks about rang. The rang, the mind is like a sponge. You put it in a colored water. Whatever color the water has, the mind becomes the same color. Whatever thoughts the mind is merged into, it becomes that. Whatever it tries to emulate, thinks of, the mind becomes that. So the mind is traversing a journey which we are defining and which we don't know is taking us where. Maharaj says that when the mind is to be cleansed, we use naam and we put the rang, the color of naam, in the man. What is naam, Maharaj? That we need to know. Well, we actually need to live naam. To define naam is so difficult. But Maharaj says Satnam, that which is truth. So it's to my understanding, it's the road to God, road to my Creator. A state of mind where I have no thoughts, where there is sahaj, there is stability, where there is unmoving, non-moving mind. Naam is where my ego is dropped, Maharaj, where I am not. These are two aspects of life. One is my ego identity, my body, my identity life, all my relationships, my conditioning, my education, my work, everything. All my thoughts come into this ego mind. We don't understand the relationship of the ego and the Creator. That's where the problem arises. The ego is not a permanent state of being. I will not die and live the same body or same ego again. I will be changing. So, all my life I create this ego, work towards this, create a conditioning. And when I die, this identity is gone. What remains is what is being defined in the 20th body by Sahib. Maharaj says that when the mind is corrupted, naam ke rang. Naam is the state in which we cleanse ourselves. What is the cleansing of, Maharaj? What? Of the ego state. The ego state has corrupted us. We think we are the center of creation. I am. Whereas creation is, you are, I'm not. There is a play between this throughout our lives. We don't live beyond the ego most of our lives. But if we do, we are lucky. If we transcend the ego even once, then we've understood the relationship between the ego and creation. Ome buje, ta dar suje. When we've understood what is creation, what is ego, then we've understood the door of the Creator. I'm born with an identity. I'm born with a name, form, body, education, everything. This is not my permanent state of being. This is not me, so to say. The me is a transient, changing personality. It never is permanent. So it's not constant. And when this me will die, the body will go into dust and the man will go its own journey. And that journey is defined now in this body. Maharaj says that We need to rely on naam. पर ये मत पापा के संग. And paap is stuck to us through ego. So the paap is the self-created man, which tells me that I am the source of creation, that I am my inner source. That is deceptive. That's false. That's not permanent. But I think it to be permanent. And so the conflict. That which I'm living is not a permanent state of life. It never will be. But I imagine it to be permanent. Otherwise I can't live. I assume I will not die. I'm not going to die today, tomorrow, day after. These are assumptions. But I can die any moment. Maharaj's famous saying, he says, Hum aadmi ha ek dami. We are people of one breath. We don't know the next. And breath is not what we take. Breath comes to us. So the Creator lives His hukum through our breath. Tresut angalvai kaiye, teka kavan adaro. Maharaj is asked this question by the Siddhs, yogis, that 37 fingers, the breath is going in and out of us. What is the basis of this breath? Sun ka vasa, sagal nivasa, akal kala tarsoi. Sun ka vasa. From the sun, the source of our inner mind, the breath comes. And the kala, the play of life happens. Akal kala tarsoi. So Maharaj, we are living an opportunity to arrive at this Amrit, the state of our inner being, permanent happiness. Sahib calls this Anand. Now the problem here is this Anand can be not realized in the ego mind. It can only be realized in the non-ego mind. So Naam is not the ego state of mind. Naam is beyond my ego, Maharaj. Naam is beyond my ego self, beyond my identity self. And it can be opened only by the Guru. That's the role of the Guru. Satgur ke janme gaman mitaya. And then the wandering ceases. You find a new birth, spiritual birth. And our wandering ceases because we have arrived at what we want. Unconditioned love and happiness existing within our Mool Man. The irony is we talk about it, we don't know it. The irony is we keep saying Anand, but we don't know the Anand. The irony is we talk about transcending life, and we keep dying and going into circulation of birth and death. So Maharaj takes us into that realm in the next line. When he says Punni Papi Akarna hai, Pun and Pap, sin, good actions and sin. He says these are not only mere words of talking. Kar karna likh la jao. As we do, so it is written. Aape bij aape hi khao. Where is it written, Maharaj? It's written in our man. So the man carries a baggage of our karma. Now, in this body, Maharaj has visited two aspects of the man. Naam is the non-moving mind. It's the mind which we meet our Guru. It's the mind where we transcend death. And in the next line, he is telling us about the karma mind, the moving mind. Punni papi akarna hai. Kar karna likh la jao. Ape bij ape hi khao. So there is the trap of life. When a farmer is sowing something, then he lives through living to also reap it. He also goes through the cycle of sowing and then reaping it. Like that, we are all farmers. The problem here is that I can't avoid not reaping it. If I have sown the seed, I will have to live the results, good, bad, ugly. So even the good is a trap. It doesn't free me. It will pull me back. I may be wanting to go somewhere, but the karam will pull me somewhere else. I have no control. And this is the hukum I am living. Not realizing I am living this hukum. I keep resisting. I keep fighting it. So the conflict. Then the turmoil, tension, pressure. So living life of acceptance and expectation. Living the hukum is of acceptance. Expectation is of sorrow. This was the other question. Kit pit jag upje purkha. How does life come about? Maharaj says from the ego it comes about. Naam bisariye dukh pai. And when we forget Naam, we find pain and sorrow. All this life is not permanent. It's temporary. All the joys and sorrows of this life are temporary. All the change in this life is temporary. This is the shadow of the tree, which we think is permanent. The shadow is constantly moving. Kar karna likh le jao. This is the moving mind. In the karam mind, I am always going to be in movement. So never stationary, never at rest, never at peace. Because I am sowing constantly and reaping constantly. And this is continuously happening for lifetimes, generations. Ape bij ape hi khao. Nanak hukmi aavo jao. This is the hukum of life, and we keep wandering it. So Maharaj, where is the freedom then? He showed us the freedom before he talked about karam. The freedom of life is in Naam, beyond the identity mind. So I don't make my mind stationary. I don't know Shabad. I don't know the dimensions of the Man which transcend karam. So I keep living karam. There's a Shabad of Bhagat Tarlochan and his wife had a fight. His wife used to curse God because they had very little means, miserable life, no children, lot of pain, sorrow. So one day he said this Shabad. He says, why are you cursing the Creator? Dukrit sukrit tharo karamri. Good or bad is your karam. And because I want to be freedom for my karam, that's why I japo naam. Tache japyo nama. That's why I recite the naam. Because I don't want to keep moving in this karam world. So Maharaj, I can transcend the karam world. How? Maharaj actually tells us that a few bodies before. Gaviye suniye man rakhiye pao. The Shabad becomes my Guru. I recite it, I live it, and it opens my doors to the inner revelation of life. Then I see life in completeness. Then I see there is no death. I see there is no pain, there is no sorrow. गाविए सुनिए मन रखिए पाओ दुख पर हर. Remove the pain from myself. Dukh par har sukh kar le jaye. And the house of sukh I go to. This is the state of Naam. This is the Shabad. So when we talk about the relationship of ego and the Creator, there in the Asa Divar, the whole body is dedicated to this ego. How mit aave, how mit jave. It talks about the entire life moving in ego. Then he asks this question, Home kitho upje? Kit sanja mein jaye? Where does the ego come from and how does it go away? Home eho hukum hai. This is part of the hukum of the Creator. If ego was not created, we will all not be. Then there will be only Naam. Then only the Creator is. So the droplet is separated from the ocean by the ego, by the creation of the ego. Home eho hukum hai, ye kirt firai, and everybody is moving because of this ego. Home dirgh rog hai, and when we have entered into the state of ego, then we realize that this is a disease. This is a very painful disease. And it doesn't give us peace. It doesn't give us happiness. It gives us a wandering state of mind, wandering between joy and sorrow constantly. We spend the joy quickly and we live the pain for a long time. Kot janam ke dukh gavayo. The pain lives in our mind for years, for crore years, infinite number of years. We hold on to the pain. That's what defines us. We spend the moments of joy. Don't let that define us. And that's the wandering of the man. Home dirgh rog hai, daru bhi isma hai. And he says the disease has its own solution. It has its own medicine within it. Dropping the ego solves the problem. Home dirgh rog hai, daru bhi isma hai, kirpa kare je apni, the Gur ka shabad kamaye. By the Guru Prasad, by the Guru's blessing, we connect to the Shabad. So Maharaj says, Ji ke date pritam prabh mere, man jeeve tab naam chitere. When the Guru meets us, he connects us to Naam. Jivan Dan, life, a gift of a new life. This is the role of the Guru. This is the Shabad. And Shabad is the way we will find rest. We will find peace, freedom, and the revelation of inner life. Not temporary, transient, not changing, but the unchanging life. So the psychology of the mind has a changing aspect of the mind and an unchanging aspect of the mind. Modern psychology doesn't know a non-changing mind. The Guru calls it Unman. Only the Guru's presence, the Shabad's presence can reveal the Unman to us. So here's the invitation. In this physical life, we should understand and live the Shabad. And who knows, the Guru Prasad happens to us. That is why Maharaj calls his state, where is the city where he lives, as Anandapur, the city of joy. It's physical, but it's more spiritual. It was destroyed in the physical, but it represented itself because it was actually a spiritual state of being. So you can keep destroying it in the physical, it will keep coming back, because it never goes away. The Anand which the Guru has, the Sikh has, will never go away. Bhagat Kabir calls it Vaikunt. Bhagat Ravidas calls it Begumpura, the city without sorrow. Begumpura sair ko nao, dukh ando nahi taithao. No dukh, no pain, no tension, no stress. अब मोहे खूब वतन गे पाई, उहा खैर सदा मेरे पाई. There I found a new joy, a new city forever. I'm taken care of here forever. Uha khair sada mere pai. This is the invitation of the Japji. Jap man satnam, sada satnam. Halat palat mukh ujal hoi hai. Come on, let's japo naam. That is our inner calling. That is our solution. Ram simar, ehi tero kaaj hai. This is what you're here for. The Guru Prasad will reveal a state of being which has permanent happiness. So Maharaj has talked about two minds here. One which is cleansed with Naam. जैसे जल में कमल निरालम मुर्गा ही न साने, सुरत शब्द पर सागर तरिए, नानक नाम बखाने. And this, he says, is the way to cross the world. Go across the ocean of life. Surat Shabad. Maharaj, let's become aware of Surat. Let's japo naam. Pavasagar tariye. Go across the ocean of life. Across pain, across sorrow, across death. Nanak naam bakhani. And there the naam exists. सतगुर के जन्म में गमन मिटाया, पूरे गुर ते नाम पाया जाए. Guru gives us naam. Guru gives us the state of permanent happiness, unconditional happiness. In this 20th body, Maharaj talks about the state of mind which is cleansed by naam. And then he says, if you don't do this, then you will wander in the life of karam. Later on in the Japji, again this is visited in the last slok. We know it as Pavan Guru Pani Pita. The same thing is being said in different words. Bhagat Kabir says, Khet hi karo nibeda. In this lifetime, free me of this bondage of karma. Make me cleansed of the ego and live the state of Naam. And where does that exist, Maharaj? Maharaj says, Gaviye suniye man rakhiye pao. Sing it, listen to it. So the dhyan and the shabad, let it meet. And in another place he says, Suniye maniye man ki pao. So love Sing the Shabad with love. The Guru visits us in love, Maharaj. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj lives with us, is here in love. What does it take from me? Dhyan. Detach from the world and connect to the Guru. That's the cleansing of the mind. That mind has no thought. No thought. I lived for a few years with Sant Niranjan Singh in Patiala. Immense love. And I'm really grateful every moment of my life for that companionship I got from him. One day he called me. He says, "Kuch chir man thoughtless hunda hai? Are you thoughtless for some time in a day?" The Sangat of the Sadhu is about figuring out the mind. The problems and the solutions are in the mind. We don't know the Guru's created mind for us. We only know the ego mind which we've created for ourselves. And that's the hell. Like Ghalib says, "Firdaus mein do jag ko mila lo ya Rab, sair karne ki kuch jagah aur hi sahi." In my blissful state, in the heaven of life, let me add some hell, which is my ego. Just because I need some more space to walk, I create my hell. The ego is the hell, is the karam, the wandering, which has no solutions. It only has problems and problems and problems. We can solve them temporarily. So, do I not live this physical world? No, he doesn't say that. Figure out the inner world. The outer world, we have to live the way it is. That's part of the hukam. We become over-obsessed. What will happen? What will leave? What will go? Nothing happens. Nothing will be left. When someone merges with the Creator, he's everywhere. He never goes, never gets separated. It's the meeting, it's the one meeting which never is separation in it. The world has meeting and separation. The world has love and hatred, all built together. It's the dual world, the duality, the dvait. So Maharaj calls Japji the solution of life. Where does it exist? Within us, Maharaj. It's called, in another mythology, Anashakti. Ability to break away at will from this creation. In Zen Buddhism, they call it just sitting, Zazen. Just sit, and the world's gone. Sunkavasa. Go into inner source of being. How do you think all these things happen? Sheesh Kansa, cutting into two, boiled, put into fire. These are superhuman beings who've understood and lived this state of life. They have no dependence on the physical. They have found that source. That's why they can face all these moments of agony, which we feel as agony, and they don't feel that agony. Bani Singh says, "Cut me, limb by limb, no problem." Maharaj, if the life is lived with the intoxication of Naam, then it has its journey towards an inner resplendence, a joy. And if it is lived in the ego, it's a disaster. Amir Khusro talks about selling the mind. If you've heard and listened to Nusrat Chhap Tilak Karchini, what is that about? The identity is taken away, he says, from me. I have a chhap, a tilak, that's my identity. You've taken it away. Chini. And that has given me joy. I have gone beyond my ego. So Maharaj says, ऐस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छुट्टे मन कहां समाई, मन बेचे सतगुर के पास, ते सेवक के कारज रास. Sell this ego mind to the Guru and transcend it. Unless we are ready to give up the ego, the meeting with Guru will not happen. That is our problem. For many lifetimes, that's the problem we are living. Repetitively, we don't want to give up the ego. We want a life without pain, but don't want to give up the source of the pain. The source of the pain is ego. नाम बिसरिए दुख पाई. By Nandlal Brahmgyani, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj quote. He talks about the same thing. Gamche bashat, gaflat az yaad khuda. He says, what is the reason of sorrow? He's being gafal about the Creator. Gaflat az yaad khuda. Not able to remember our source is the source of our pain. Cheez shadi yaad beimtaha. Remembering Him intensely is a source of our happiness. These are the people who know the inner psychology of the mind. The psychologists whom we visit today don't know this, but we can know it. Shabad Guru Surtatun Chela. Use the Shabad and transform ourselves. Maharaj has talked about the 20th body today of Japji. The cryptic steps of Bani sometimes become so powerful that they trigger the revelation within us. But we don't want to do it. We want to stick to our pain, and we define ourselves with our pain. And we again and again blame others for our pain. The pain is rooted in our ego, Maharaj. And the solution is also in the ego. Dropping it or living with it, the choice is ours. Shabad is our salvation. Shabad is our journey to our inner self. Living in its jap will take us on an inner journey. This is the 20th body, Maharaj. And if you have anything to say or any questions, please feel free. Hopefully, we don't go in the state of avo, nanak bhi avo jao. We find rest in Naam. If you have any questions or you want to say something, please feel free. You can raise your hand. If you're listening on YouTube, you can write your question and Guru Simran will bring it here. I thank you for your presence. Guru is Shabad Maharaj. Shabad Guru Surtatun Chela. Guru Nanak is no photo. He is not any other form. His form is the Shabad. So if we want to meet Guru Nanak, we meet through the Shabad. Okay, so Gagandeep has this question. You mentioned that if one accepts a thought as mine, then my man becomes the same. Could you please elaborate? Thoughts are triggered by incidences, from within us or without us. I see a very nice scenery and I say, this is so beautiful. The thought that this is so beautiful actually distracts me from seeing the scenery. So I have held on to the thought and I have expressed it. And in expressing it, I've actually stopped seeing. So this is how it happens. We hold on to the thought and we lose the vision. The thoughts distract us. Similarly, we can have for any other, multiple situations. We have a thought coming in our mind that what if the car doesn't run properly and I can't reach my destination? I hold on to that and become fearful. So I've defined myself with that thought. May be true, may not be true. But this is how we define our lives. We have this plan for the great plan for life. We say we will do this, our children, and then it doesn't never work like that. But our thought, we hold on to that thought and that defines us. So similarly, thought is a tool actually. The problem is here. The thought is a tool with which we interact with life. If there is no thought, we can't. Suppose I have to cook some food, so there has to be some thought. What all will go into the ingredient? It's a necessary requirement, the thought. The problem is that the thought is consuming us. We don't control it. It controls us. Like that, fear and sorrow, they all have their place in life. But we don't know how to deal with them. We will know that only when we know the inner revelation of the mind. So this is how we are. So Gagandeep, you are Gagandeep. You are married to Mandeep. You have 2 children. These are all ego world. Changing world, not the permanent world. If I was to say, what is the car? The car is, I take out the steering wheel of the car and say, this is the car. You'll say, no, this is not. I say, okay, I take out the wheel of the car. Is this the car? I say, no. I take out the bonnet. I say, is this the car? No. So the coming together of me is a circumstantial coming together of many things. And they all keep coming and going. My father was in my life till 2017. He's no more after that. So he was a defining aspect of my life till that time. But he's gone. Does life go away? Life doesn't go away, but a part of my life goes away. So this is the ego world, constantly changing. We hold on to these changes. We hold on to these thoughts and then they define us. It can be used in the positive also to free ourselves. I can go on to this thought that I want to be spiritual. That's a thought. And then I take action in that and I find solutions. That's also started with thought. But thoughts which consume us completely, define us completely, are not really permanent in their own way. And we constantly judge ourselves like that. One way of dealing with thoughts is ignore them. Only sieve them through, check them. Are they worth holding on to? Most of the thoughts are not worth holding on to. So we can check, is this thought, is this right, is this? Then we can use that thought positively if we want it. Then we are not being controlled by thought. We are controlling thought. It's part of our mind. It's not our entire mind. And that can only happen if we have a stable mind. One source of our mind which is completely stable. And then we can go into Naam. That what defines us even differently. When we know Naam, we are completely detached from the world. And a new world enters into our life. That is not the thought world, but it's the Naam world. Ji Maharaj. As the mind emulates, that's what it becomes. If I make Guru Sahib my center of my thought, then I will move towards him. Maharaj. But what is the thoughtless mind? Chalte ho man rakhe, amrit chakhe. That's where amrit exists. Maharaj. So we use the thought in the world and we detach from thought in Naam. That is the sixth life. Ji Maharaj. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
When we say the word Paap, it has different perspectives, different angles. It has social, ethical, psychological, philosophical. But when we try to avoid it, but unconsciously we come to know that we have done it. But then how to, can you define it again, how to get it out of this?
So this is the different planes of existence. One is the emotional, the thought plane. So Paap in the emotion, hurting someone is the Paap. So Maharaj says, Khalak khalak ki jaan ke, khalak dukhaye nahi. Khalak dukhe nandlal, khalak ko pita hai. Khalak khalak ki jaan ke. Know the world to be the Creator's world. And don't pain it. If you pain it, he will curse you. Khalak dukhe nandlal, khalak ko pita hai. Yes, so sin and good deeds are also defined by social norms. Fair enough. That's morality. Morality is a struggle which human form has never been able to achieve because it's not realistic. But morality exists in its own plane, it has its reference, but it changes. Like language changes, morality changes with the social structure. So, sin and good deeds are defined in different cultures in different ways. In Himachal, there are some villages where there is one woman has many husbands. Now, in another culture, it will be considered a sin, but it's not there. So, the definition of sin and good is completely different. But let's look at it from the spiritual angle. Every karam is binding on us, so it detaches us from our Creator. So that is the paap, which is in the spiritual realm. I am addressing that in the absolute sense. It is breaking us away from our inner Anand. So if there is a paap that's having the ability to not go beyond the ego, and going into Naam. And being driven into a life of bondage, not of freedom. Maharaj, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, Sache Padshah, he talks about a source of happiness in the Zafarnama. He's telling Aurangzeb, na sazo, na bazo, na fauzo, na farsh. Here's the time when Maharaj has no fort, he doesn't have a house, he has no means, the children are also gone, he has no army. So he says, I have no saz, no royalty, no baz, no army, faujo, no farsh, no house. But he says, my anand is not reduced even a little bit. खुदावंद बख्शन दे ए ऐश अर्श, खुदावंद बख्शन दे ओ ऐश अर्श. My anand comes from my Guru, from my Creator. It is not dependent on the physical form. So whatever you may have done to me, my anand is not changed even a bit. That is the miracle of life, Maharaj. Ji. Vaheguru.
Viju, what is the place of self-regulation in Sikhism?
Naam. Naam is the regulator in Sikhism. Kantalai Avgun Submitte Dayal Bhakshan. When we meet the Guru, then the imperfections are gone. Saat Shabad Vin Mukt na koi. Kya aap ye sach socha hoye. Meeting truth, we become pure. Otherwise, we don't. Otherwise, we wander in pain and imperfect. Only problems, no solutions. Maharaj, Naam is our regulator. Guru is our regulator. There is no self in the absolute norm. The self is a temporary phenomena. The self becomes permanent only when it merges with Naam. Then it's the miracle of life. In Manas te devte kiye kartana lagi var. From human beings he become a devta with no time. That's Naam. Maharaj. Jap man satnam, sada satnam. Vaheguru Ji, Ji. With no more questions, then we can do an answer.
Viju, one more thing.
Ji.
Generally, we consider that spirituality is transformation of the impulses. Then all the religions have their schools of philosophy and psychology and all that. I think, you may reply more better, that we, being a Sikh, have we established a school of philosophy? Because we are also talking about all the virtues and vices and the transformation and the path of spirituality. And Buddhism also has a school. Islam also has a school. But I have never heard that people, means out of India or out of Punjab, people are talking about the school of philosophy of Sikhism.
The word philosophy comes from PhD. It's a Greek word. When the Greeks looked into the education, spiritual aspect of life, everything was engulfed into it. So mathematics, science, everything was philosophy, doctorate, PhD. The word comes from there. Now, the Greeks have based their entire spiritual aspect on what is called logos, which is the keyword of logic. They have created from this logos and logic all the mathematics which was created, the Euclidean mathematics, the trigonometry, it all came from PhD. If you really go into the Euclidean geometry, you will realize that it has come from logos, from logic. It's logical, the length is there, the breadth is there, and then they arrive at the formula. All this is thought-based life, Maharaj. It's very good. We need it as a tool to live. We need mathematics, we need physics, we need chemistry to figure out our physical world. The inner world is Naam, is the darshan of Guru, Shabad. That is very difficult to define in philosophy. Maharaj used the word darshan. And how does he define darshan? Man chure kat darshan jaan. The collapse of the mind is the darshan of creation. The collapse of the moving mind. This is far more powerful than just philosophy. It's looking at the soul bare in its entirety and living it. Kahire man ko janjai, sarab nivasi sada lepa toh sang samai. Talking, meet the Creator, meet my source. Kat hi khojo pai, search within yourself. Jan Nanak bina pachine, mite na pram ki kai. Know your inner self. That's the Guru's philosophy. And it's not defined in words. It is defined by Naam. Beyond words. Maharaj. Tan suvela chit darshan karna. Hum bale hari satvar channa. Ji Maharaj. Any more?
Thank you, Vijay.
Maharaj. Then we can do Anand Sahib.
Viji, I wanted to ask a question.
Ji.
I sometimes feel like driven by what people might say or say about me, that I feel unconscious, underconfident about myself. Despite knowing that if I have to stand in front of my guru, I might not be able to face, because somewhere I might do something wrong, which I won't be able to answer to my guru. Yet it sometimes feel like the society is developing, and I mean, to get that feeling of acceptance in the society, it feels very dilemmatic sometimes. How can we capture that control over our mind?
When we meet our Guru,
It's more of a personal question.
no, it's a very valid question. Meeting the Guru is submitting yourself to him. If we were perfection already, then why would be there need for Guru? We are not perfect, and the Guru knows it very well. Whatever our maladies, fallacies, problems, imperfections, diseases, whatever the mind has, we submit it to the Guru. That's the miracle of being with Guru. Guru has even changed the murderers of life, the thieves of life. So here there is no fear. I am wrong as accepted, and I offer my wrong to the Guru, and he will relieve me of my pain. That is the attitude we need to live. If I'm already perfect and then I go to Guru, then I have an ego. I have made my perfection from my ego. No. Meet the Guru with love. And don't allow others to define your life. That's the other problem. Nobody can define your life. So we catch on to that thought. This is known as you've got a suggestion and you've caught that suggestion. Accepted it as yours. If we live in love, in Naam, in the meditation of Shabad, then we will slowly go away from these weaknesses of our path and not be distracted by the other. Be calmer. Be more at peace. When we find a trigger, then we don't always need to. Sometimes we can. Sometimes we don't have control because our mind is full of conflicts within itself temporarily. But the journey of visiting the Naam regularly will transform us over time. Will color our mind, rang, and more make it peaceful, make it more detached from the worldly opinion. Rumi says it does not matter what others think of me. It matters what I am to myself. Maharaj. Don't fear. Meeting the Guru and submitting to the Guru is the miracle of life. It changes us forever. The Guru knows everything. Gurunanak Ardas, Pesh Darvesh Banda. Call in prayer. Call your Guru in love. And he will solve all our problems. Ji Maharaj.
Viji, like you said, that everything is controlled by Guru, and which is true. So, like the thoughts that we get,
Everything is not controlled. Everything is not controlled by Guru. We also have our ego. If we have our ego, we detach from the Guru's will. The stronger the ego is, the more painful life is. And more detached we are from the Guru. Guru will bless us only if we submit our ego to the Guru. Otherwise, how can he? You already build a wall between him and yourself. Ji Maharaj.
Ji Viji, thank you.
Thank you. Ji Maharaj. We can do Anand Sahib then. Hanji. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji ki
Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.